Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Fluento, everyday English for real life. I'm Anna.
And I'm David, and today we have something really good for you.
We do. But first, quick question, and I want you to really think about this one. Has this ever happened to you? Someone says something, maybe a friend, maybe your boss, maybe someone at a party, and you think, that's not right. I don't agree with that at all.
But then you say nothing. You just smile, maybe you nod a little, and later you think, why didn't I say something?
Ugh, David, that used to be me every single week when I was learning Spanish.
Right? And the worst part, it's not because you don't have an opinion, it's because you don't know how to disagree without sounding rude or aggressive.
And that's exactly what today's episode is about. We're going to give you real, natural English phrases with examples, mini role plays, and practice moments. So the next time you disagree with someone in English, you can do it confidently and kindly.
Let's go.
Okay, David, let's start with the real problem here, because I think a lot of learners already know some phrases in English, right?
They do. Like if I asked you, hey, how do you say I don't agree in English? Most people could answer that.
Exactly. The phrase isn't the problem. The problem is knowing how to use it, the right tone, the right words around it, so it doesn't come out sounding harsh.
Because here's the thing, in English, especially in casual conversation, there's almost always a kind of cushion before you disagree.
Ooh, I love that word, a cushion, like something soft.
Yes, in many cultures you can say, no, that's wrong, and it's totally fine. But in everyday English, especially in professional or social situations, going straight to, no, you're wrong, can feel a bit cold.
Even aggressive sometimes.
Exactly. So what do fluent English speakers do? They use what I call the sandwich technique.
Oh, tell them about that.
Okay, so imagine a sandwich. You've got bread on top, filling in the middle, bread on the bottom. The bread is something warm or understanding. The filling is your disagreement, your real opinion. And the bottom bread, that's where you keep the conversation positive and open.
So you never just throw your disagreement at someone like a cold potato.
No, no cold potatoes, warm sandwiches only.
Okay, let's make this super concrete. Let's look at some real situations. All right, the first group of phrases we want to teach you today, these are what we call softeners. These are little words and phrases you use before your disagreement. They don't change your opinion, they just make it land more gently.
Think of them like the warm bread in the sandwich.
Here are some of the most natural ones. David, you want to take the first one?
Sure. Okay. The first one is, I see where you're coming from, but
This phrase is beautiful because it does two things at once. First, it shows you listened to the other person. Second, it gently opens the door to your different opinion.
let's do a quick example. Anna, tell me something I might disagree with.
Okay, I think working from home is always better than working in an office.
Perfect. So I might say, I see where you're coming from. There are definitely some great benefits to working from home, but personally, I find it harder to stay focused at home. I miss being around other people.
See how that worked? He didn't say, no, you're wrong. He said, I understand your side, and here's my side. Two sides, one friendly conversation.
The second softener is similar. That's a fair point, but I think
Ooh, I love this one. I use it a lot. That's a fair point. It's like giving the other person a small compliment on their thinking.
even if you completely disagree with them.
Yes, okay, don't tell anyone. But yes, sometimes you say, that's a fair point, and inside you're thinking, is it though? But it keeps the conversation friendly.
The important thing is, it doesn't feel fake, it's just polite framing.
Exactly. Let me give you a situation. Imagine you're in a group project at work or at school. Your colleague says, I think we should present our results using a really long report. And you think, no, that's way too much. Nobody will read that.
So you could say, That's a fair point. A detailed report does show we did our research, but I'm thinking our audience might prefer something shorter and more visual, maybe a presentation.
You disagreed, you gave your idea, but nobody feels attacked.
Exactly. Okay, third softener. This one is very common in casual conversation. I'm not so sure about that.
This one is interesting because it's very gentle. You're not saying you're wrong, you're almost just thinking out loud.
It invites a conversation instead of ending one.
Right. It's like you're saying, help me understand this better, even when you actually have a strong opinion.
Example, your friend says, that new cafe on Main Street is the best in the city, and you've been there and you thought it was okay, just okay.
So instead of, no, it's not, the coffee was terrible, you might say, oh, really? I'm not so sure about that. I found the coffee a bit weak, but maybe I ordered the wrong thing. What did you have?
See how that opens a conversation instead of shutting one down?
Beautiful. Let's recap those three softeners quickly before we move on. 1, I see where you're coming from, but 2, that's a fair point, but I think 3, I'm not so sure about that.
Say them with us right now. Seriously, pause the video and say them out loud. Even just once, it makes such a big difference.
We'll wait.
Good. Okay, moving on.
David, can I share something really quick? Because I think some of our learners might be feeling this right now.
Of course.
Sometimes when I coach learners one-on-one, they say, Anna, I know these phrases, but in a real conversation, everything goes so fast. I forget them. I panic. I go silent.
Oh, that is so real.
And I always say the same thing. Learning a phrase is step 1. Feeling comfortable with a phrase, that only comes from practice. Not perfect practice, just practice.
You know what I did when I was learning French? I practiced disagreeing in the mirror alone in my apartment.
Really?
I'm serious. I would imagine a fake conversation and practice my response, and it felt ridiculous, but it worked.
Because your brain needs to rehearse the feeling of using the phrase, not just know the words of it.
Exactly. So later in this video, we're going to do some mini role plays together, and we want you to pause, try the phrases, and practice along, because watching is good, but doing is where the real learning happens.
Okay, let's move to our second group of phrases, because sometimes you disagree not with someone's opinion, but with a fact they said. And that's a slightly different situation.
Right. Like if someone says, the Eiffel Tower is in London, you can't exactly say, that's a fair point.
No, you can't, because it's just not true.
So how do you correct someone politely without embarrassing them?
This is actually something a lot of learners worry about, and it matters, especially in professional or academic situations.
Here's the first one. Actually, I think you'll find that.
This phrase is gentle but clear. Actually signals that you have different information, and I think you'll find it's almost like you're sharing a discovery, not correcting a mistake.
Example, your colleague at work says, the deadline for this project is Friday, and you check the email and you're pretty sure it's Thursday.
So you could say, actually, I think you'll find the deadline is Thursday. I just reread the email this morning. Do you want me to forward it to you?
You corrected the information, but you also offered to help. No embarrassment.
The second one is, I might be wrong, but I thought...
Ooh, this one is clever because you start with, I might be wrong, which makes you sound humble and open, but then you share your information anyway.
And honestly, most of the time when people say, I might be wrong, but they are right. It's just a very English way of being confident without sounding arrogant.
Example, you're planning a trip with friends. Someone says, the museum is free on Sundays, but you're pretty sure it's free on Tuesdays.
So you say, I might be wrong, but I thought it was free on Tuesdays, not Sundays. Let me check their website quickly.
You corrected them, you offered to verify, everyone feels fine.
And the third phrase for this section is, are you sure about that? I read or heard something different.
This one works really well because it's framed as a question. You're not saying you're wrong, you're saying let's double check together.
And that changes the whole energy of the conversation.
Quick example. Your friend says, caffeine doesn't actually affect your sleep, and you've read articles that say completely the opposite.
So instead of, no, that's totally wrong, you might say, are you sure about that? I've read something quite different. I think it can really affect deep sleep, but maybe it depends on the person.
You disagreed, you shared your knowledge, and you left it open.
Let's pause here for 1 second because I want to highlight something important.
Go for it.
Did you notice that almost every example ends with something open, a question, an offer to check, an acknowledgement that it might depend?
Right, because in English conversation, especially casual, social English, disagreement doesn't have to mean one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
It can just mean we see this differently, and that's interesting.
That mindset alone will change how you feel in conversations.
Okay, role play time. This is everyone's favorite part.
And by everyone, she means the people who actually pause the video and try it. So if you're going to just watch, we challenge you to try it this time.
No pressure, just fun.
Okay, I'll set up the situation. Anna, you be the person I'm having a conversation with.
Ready.
All right, everyone, here's the situation. You and a friend are talking about learning English. Your friend says something you disagree with. Listen to what Anna says, and then pause the video and try to disagree politely. Then we'll show you what a natural response sounds like.
As the friend. Honestly, I think the best way to learn English is just to watch American movies with subtitles. You don't need to study grammar at all.
Okay, pause. What would you say here? Try one of our phrases. I see where you're coming from, but, or that's a fair point, but I think, go ahead. Pause, try it. Okay, here's one natural way to respond. I see where you're coming from. Movies are amazing for picking up natural speech and vocabulary, but I personally think a bit of grammar really helps at the beginning. Otherwise, I'd just be guessing all the time. Maybe it works differently for different people.
Did you try something similar? Something different? Both are fine. The goal isn't to say the exact same words. The goal is to feel comfortable expressing your view in a warm, clear way.
Okay, let's do one more. Ready?
Ready.
This time, imagine you're at work. Your manager is talking about a new idea in a team meeting.
As the manager, I think we should stop sending weekly email updates to the team. Honestly, I don't think anyone reads them anyway.
Okay. How do you disagree with your manager? Remember, a bit more careful here. This is a professional situation.
Here's a natural, polite response. That's a really interesting point. I know the emails can feel like a lot, but I'm not so sure we should stop completely. Some team members have mentioned they find them really useful for staying on track. Maybe we could make them shorter instead.
Beautiful. Did you notice what happened there?
You agreed with part of what they said. The emails might be too long. Then you disagreed with the solution, and you offered an alternative.
That's real-world disagreement. That's how conversations actually work.
Okay, let's be honest for a second. Sometimes the polite cushion is not enough. Sometimes you genuinely, strongly disagree, and you need to be a little more direct.
And that's okay. Being polite doesn't mean being a pushover.
So here are some phrases for when you need to stand your ground, but still do it with respect.
First one. I hear you, but I really feel differently about this.
This phrase is direct. You're not pretending to half agree, but I hear you shows you're listening, and I really feel differently makes it personal, not an attack on their opinion, but a statement of your own strong feeling.
Example, a friend insists, you should quit your job and travel. Life is too short to stay in one place. And you actually love your job. You don't want to quit. And this is the 5th time they've said it.
So you say, I hear you, and I totally get why that works for you, but I really feel differently. I love what I do, and travel isn't my priority right now. I think we all just have different things that make us happy.
Clear, kind, honest.
Second, stronger phrase. I understand your point, but I have to disagree.
This is the most direct phrase we've given you today, and that's sometimes the right choice, especially when being too vague causes more confusion.
In professional situations, sometimes clarity is kinder than softening everything. If you keep saying, I'm not so sure, when you really mean, no, I disagree, people might not understand your actual position.
Example: in a team meeting, someone proposes something that you think will genuinely not work. I understand your point and I appreciate you sharing the idea, but I have to disagree. Based on what happened last year, I don't think that approach will work for our client. I'd like to suggest we look at a different option.
Confident, professional, respectful.
And the third one, this is my personal favorite. With respect, I see this completely differently.
Oh, with respect. This is such a powerful phrase. It's like a signal that says, I'm about to disagree strongly, and I want you to know I'm still being respectful.
It's often used in debates or formal conversations, but it also works in everyday speech.
Example, someone at dinner makes a strong statement about something you care about. Young people today are just lazy. They don't want to work hard.
And you think, absolutely not. You know so many hardworking young people.
So you say, with respect, I see this completely differently. I work with a lot of young people, and I'm constantly impressed by how hard they work, often for less money and fewer opportunities than previous generations. I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
You didn't shout, you didn't insult anyone, but you made your point clearly and firmly.
That's what real confidence in a language sounds like.
Okay, quick but important section. Things to avoid.
Because sometimes learners use phrases that feel fine in their language, but in English, they can accidentally sound rude or aggressive.
Number 1, avoid starting with just no.
In some languages, a quick no, because is completely normal and neutral, but in English conversation, leading with a flat no can feel very blunt.
Instead of no, that's not right, try actually I think or I'm not so sure.
Number 2, avoid you're wrong.
Even if someone is wrong, because you're wrong puts all the attention on their mistake, and people get defensive.
Instead, try, I think the information I have is a bit different. You focus on the information, not on them being wrong.
Number 3, and this one is subtle, avoid over-apologizing.
Oh, yes, some learners are so worried about being rude that they say things like, I'm so sorry, I hope you don't mind, but maybe, perhaps, if that's okay with you.
And by the time you finish the sentence, no one knows what you actually think.
You don't need to apologize for having an opinion. Softening is good. Over-apologizing makes you seem unsure even when you're not.
Just use the phrases we taught you. Keep your voice warm and trust yourself.
All right, let's bring it all together. A quick review of everything we covered today.
Group 1, Softeners, to gently introduce your disagreement. I see where you're coming from, but that's a fair point, but I think I'm not so sure about that.
Group 2, correcting information, when the facts are different. Actually, I think you'll find that I might be wrong, but I thought, are you sure about that? I heard something different.
Group 3, Stronger Disagreement, when you need to be direct but still kind. I hear you, but I really feel differently about this. I understand your point, but I have to disagree. With respect, I see this completely differently.
And remember the 3 things to avoid. No flat no, no you're wrong, and please no over-apologizing.
You have opinions. You're allowed to share them. The phrases we gave you today are your tools to do that with confidence and kindness.
Okay, before we go, one final thought.
Go for it.
Learning to disagree in English isn't just about language, it's about feeling like yourself in a conversation. When you can only agree or stay silent, you're only showing half of who you are.
And you are so much more than half a person.
That was beautiful, David.
I thought so too.
But seriously, when you start using these phrases, something shifts. You stop feeling like a passenger in conversations. You start feeling like a participant. And that feeling, that's what fluency actually feels like.
It doesn't come from knowing every word. It comes from feeling confident enough to use the words you have.
So here's what we want you to do right now. 3 things.
1. Drop a comment below. Tell us which phrase from today is your favorite, or write us a sample sentence using one of them. We read every single comment.
2. Try one of these phrases today. Even in a small, low-stakes situation, a text message, a comment online, a conversation with a friend. Just try it once. That's all.
3. If this video helped you, please share it with one person who's learning English. You could genuinely change their confidence today.
And, of course, subscribe to Fluento if you haven't already. We post new episodes every day. Real English, real situations, real practice.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.
And keep speaking. Bye!